everybody, it's Ashley from Unbridled Faith, and I'm coming to you today from our horse ranch where we do equine assisted therapy. So you might be wondering, why am I doing a video here? But I often do. And today I'm going to tell you why I'm doing a video here, but also I'm going to share with you the why for the Unbridled Faith box, why I produced the Unbridled Faith box, and why I think it's a great resource. So first of all, the reason why I'm here ties into the why that I started the Unbridled Faith box. So about 20 years ago, it was 20 years ago, I started a ranch called Shepherd Youth Ranch. And you'll have to forgive me, sometimes I get a little distracted when horses come up, so I might show them in the video. And this was a dream of mine for a long time. I wanted to pair horses that we rescued with people who had suffered trauma. And so 20 years ago, in 2004, I started Shepherd Youth Ranch. And today we see over 1,000 people a year who have suffered trauma in our equine assisted program. And what that means is people come out here free of charge. They don't pay to receive therapy out here at Shepherd Youth Ranch. And we do what's called equine assisted therapy with them, which is all done on the ground. And it's to help them overcome their trauma. So they might be learning something about horses while they're here, but they're really learning about what's working in their life and what's not working in their life, so that they can overcome trauma and trust God for their for their eternity. So fast forward, since I've been a counselor by profession all my life, that's what I've done. And after I founded this organization, even before I founded this organization, I counseled women. And I continued to do that here at the ranch. Even though it's called a youth ranch, I also work with adult survivors of human trafficking, adult women, veterans, you name it, okay? So I've always worked with adult women as well. And so in the past 5, 6, 7 years, I started to work with women more and more often who had experienced relationship trauma. And I myself went through relationship trauma about 14 years ago or so, and have had some other experiences with people who have had personality disorders. So not only in my profession have I had this experience, but in my own life. And so I wanted to create a resource specifically for women who had suffered relationship trauma. And that led me on a journey to do counseling with these women, and also create a program that specifically addressed the issues that you face when you've gone through relationship trauma with someone that has a personality disorder. Because these are very different issues than, say, having been in a relationship with someone who has high anxiety or depression or even addictions, okay? So I knew that this was different and it needed its own information, so to speak. So I created a course, and I was doing one-on-one counseling with women for several years. So now today, I've created the Unbridled Faith box because I couldn't serve all the women, of course, in the world, and I couldn't bring this great resource to all of them because there's only so much time in the day, right? And also, I recognized from my own experience, and also with the women that I was trying to counsel, that for many of them, counseling was out of reach. It was too expensive, especially when they were coming out of this kind of emotional trauma that also, a lot of times a financial trauma accompanies that. And so I wanted to create a resource that was affordable, but not to take the place of counseling, but if someone cannot afford counseling, that would provide a resource, a biblically based resource, so that they could start their healing process, so that one day they could afford a counselor, and then this could be a supplemental, this could complement what they were doing in counseling. So really, it's for women who are in counseling, this complements it, because it is very difficult to find a counselor who is biblical, number one, and number two, understands personality disorders and the type of trauma that you've gone through. And then it's also for women who cannot afford counseling right now. It's a great resource. And one of the things that I felt that was really important to include in the Unbridled Faith box, which is not in the box, is a Zoom call once a month. So everybody who subscribes to the Unbridled Faith box will be able to get on a Zoom call with other women and myself and receive answers to your questions. So whatever you're struggling with, this is your opportunity to get that kind of coaching that you need. And so with the Unbridled Faith box, we have this Zoom call once a month, and you get to ask me questions, and I get to be able to help you in a larger format, right? Because it's a group format, but your question, I can guarantee you, will be several other people's question. So even getting on there and listening to other people's questions, if you don't want to, if you want to be anonymous on there, you don't have to turn your camera on, you don't even have to put your name in there, and you can just listen to other people's questions and probably get your question answered. So and I'm going to talk more about this particular benefit of the Unbridled Faith box in another video, but this is my why. This is why I created the Unbridled Faith box, and it means a lot to me to be able to reach more women and give them God's, to share with them. I mean, you don't need me to learn God's word, but to be able to help them overcome relationship trauma through what God can do in your life, to direct people back to God. That is very important to me, because I really don't think there's any other way to do it, honestly. So, okay, that's my why, and I'd love it if you want to reply to this email, and if you have any questions about this, please do. I'd love to hear from you. And just so you know, some of you have asked me, who have already signed up for the subscription box, you've asked who Fame and Saki is, because even though the name of this business is Unbridled Faith Box, the name of my company, because you have to have a company to run a business, right? The name of my company is Fame and Saki. And so Fame and Saki are actually two horses out in this pasture. So the big tall brown one back there, that's Saki, and the you can't really see them. You can only, you just see their butts. But the gray one, they're both, they look white, but they're gray horses. The one in the middle, that's Fame. So there's Fame and Saki, and that's who I named my business for. So when you sign up, you'll get a receipt, and it'll say from Fame and Saki. It is for the Unbridled Faith box, but the name of the business is Fame and Saki, and that's Fame and Saki. All right, everybody, I look forward to seeing you soon, and I hope you'll sign up for the box, and I hope I'll get to see you on the Zooms. All right, love ya. Bye-bye.